I think the real thing to do is, as you said, they're aware of the issues that could crop up. Patch 9.1 is going to be a fresh season, and I imagine this system will be tweaked to hell and reset for that.
Yeah. That gives us a perfect segue to on to our next piece of news, which is little tweaks and improvements.
Yes, it is. You can now purchase 5 Marks of Honor for 2,000 Honor in Orbos.
Yeah, this is a bigger deal than you would imagine, but mostly from the perspective of, for the entirety of the 9.0.2, excess honor was a problem. Everyone had more honor than they knew what to deal with, and there's nothing for them. So at the very, and I think this is actually more interesting because this was at the very tail end of PTR. This was a last minute change. Maybe it was planned and it only went in later, but it was literally, I think it was hotfixed onto the release candidate, because I remember it was it was after, I think it was after we had one of those videos written that Dakor messaged me saying, "Oh, this is new."
Yes.
I was like, whoa, agility and problem solving from Blizzard, specifically for PvP. That's not the opposite of foreboding. It's really, I'm lost for words.
Well, it's
but,
spooky.
yeah. Spooky.
I mean spooky in a good way, right? We don't want to seem like we're just beating up Blizzard all the time, but generally speaking, Blizzard is this, like, I don't know, I was going to say 500-pound gorilla. I don't even know how heavy gorillas get, but they're always that just big, colossal, powerful, strong gorilla with all the resources and stuff in the world, and they move very slowly as they did things. As a big corporate company with hundreds of developers to manage and all those issues.
Yeah, they're a tank.
Yeah. And then suddenly we saw all this crazy agility. They were slapping hot fixes into everything left, right, and center. Mythic Plus Dungeons were just changing a whole bunch. This was added in. I think you can get, if you want to buy a bag of fish for your Valor points, so you can buy a bag of fish for your Valor points. Maybe not necessarily fish, but crafting resources, changes to the raid gearing. That was all hot fixed in. And it's generally speaking, what we always found with Blizz is they'd put these problems and they just leave them for so long. I was like, well, if you don't like the current version, all its issues, we're going to change it later. I mean, I wonder, did they maybe see patch 8.3 went, did 8.3 basically fucking collapse and fall over, and then once they decided to add in new currency systems, did they maybe see an uptick? Did they maybe realize, oh yeah, mid-season changes. Turns out if there's a problem the players would like solved, and maybe we solve it, maybe they come back and they play. Because that's certainly happening. Season 1 is better. It just is better. This is a better time to play WoW now.
100%.
So, yeah. I guess the other part of this then is, you can get Marks of Honor for doing that stuff. Marks of Honor are a pretty awesome system, actually. We talked about this last time, but it's just that thing, you're getting you can get all these Marks of Honor. You can go shopping with your character. Have a day out, day out in the shops. Pick up your marks.
I think the very next thing that, I don't want to say needs to happen, but the obvious thing here is, where's the Marks of Valor?
That would be an interesting thing, because there is that thing, though, where there's a lot of gameplay from going and doing old raids and stuff like that to build your set.
Yeah.
And if they did do some sort of Marks of Valor thing, they could end up, or at least they could maybe say to themselves, oh, but we'd be cannibalizing that. And I guess you could have issues where you could farm up your Marks of Valor by doing some content, and then you could maybe spend them in content you couldn't otherwise do. So, like, what if you farmed up Marks of Valor in, like, I don't know, whatever, but you spent them on, BFA raid stuff, which you can't really solo right now. So there could be some issues there, but in principle, I would really like the idea.
Yeah.
You just have to get a bunch of the details right. I think it's that thing where if it's a little bit more formalized in some way that you can do that, then I think people will be more willing to engage with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, I don't know why the Firelands is in my head for something, but I was thinking if there's ways for you to, like, get Marks of Valor as your base currency and then do something with other, like, gear or loot from old raids that might make sense. I mean, I'm sure it would be a bit of a nightmare initially for setup and would probably take, like, a decent amount of time from a dev or two, but just go throw tokens like from that specific raid on maybe the trash in a raid, maybe the end boss of each raid from the past, and then set up like a vendor at the entrance or rotating something like that's the kind of thing where I think all those problems are fairly solvable, but it's just a case of it's right there. They introduce Otter and then Conquest and then Defender and these marks. Now they're using them properly for actual current content being fed through, as opposed to praying you get them. And I think it's there. It's there. Why not use it?
It's funny. It's like if I ended up at Blizzard somehow, it's like the one project I'd want to be involved with is basically how can we really thriftily get more out of this thing? How can we really thriftily and cheaply and, roguishly and all of that make more use out of the stuff that is in the world of Warcraft? That's what I would probably be more interested in doing in a way, just because I feel like through all of these things there is so much potential that could be tapped into in some way. It's just the sort of thing where all you'd really need is a half-decent idea implemented well, and it probably wouldn't require a lot of new art assets or things like that to do. And yeah, just like how Marks of Honor sort of helped unlock a little bit of a system there, could happen. So I think that's that for Marks of Honor.
That's us.